Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans, do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hello, Dallas Cowboys faithful. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most controversial and talked about stories of the season. A story that's shaking the very foundation of the Cowboys defense and perhaps their entire outlook for this year. If you've been following the team closely, you've probably sensed the tension, the uncertainty, and the frustration mounting as the Cowboys stumble through what was supposed to be a promising campaign. Now, with just 3 games remaining, the spotlight is on the defensive coordinator, Matt Eber, and the decisions that may be on the horizon. What happened recently? Why is everyone talking about Everful, and what does this mean for the Cowboys' future? All of this and much more coming right up. Let's start with the revelation that has sent shock waves through the Dallas Cowboys community. After their recent 34-26 loss to the Minnesota Vikings, owner Jerry Jones made a comment that can be interpreted as a clear indication of potential change. When asked whether Everful would remain the defensive coordinator next season, Jones responded with a cautious and somewhat ominous statement, emphasizing the need for adjustments in the remaining 3 games. He said in essence that the decisions about coaching staff, especially on defense, would be heavily influenced by the team's performance in these last critical games. This isn't just a typical post-game comment. It's a signal, a sign that the Cowboys front office is seriously contemplating a shakeup if the defense continues to falter. And falter they have. This season, the Dallas Cowboys defense has been a shadow of what many envisioned at the start of the year. The team entered the season with high hopes, bolstered by a strong roster that included Micah Parsons, a linebacker and pass rusher who's been widely regarded as one of the league's most disruptive defenders. Parsons' ability to generate pressure, create turnovers, and energize the entire defense was seen as a cornerstone for the Cowboys' success. But in a move that stunned many, the team traded Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. This decision, made reportedly for cap space and strategic reasons, has proven to be a double-edged sword. While the Packers have gained a star, the Cowboys' defense has struggled immensely without their top edge rusher. Let's analyze this move more thoroughly. Trading Micah Parsons, arguably the face of the franchise's defense, raised immediate questions about the team's strategic vision. Was this a short-term move to free up cap space? Or was it a signal that the Cowboys' leadership wasn't confident in their ability to retain Parsons long-term? Whatever the case, the fallout has been clear on the field. The Cowboys now rank among the worst defenses in the league in key statistical categories. They are allowing an average of 254.8 passing yards per game, which is the highest in the NFL this season. Opposing quarterbacks are finding gaps and exploiting weaknesses with relative ease, often targeting the secondary that's been plagued with injuries and inconsistent performances. Additionally, the Cowboys are surrendering an average of 30 points per game, which puts them as the second worst team in the league in that category. That's a staggering number, especially for a team that prides itself on its defense and has a history of strong defensive schemes. The yardage allowed per game is also concerning. An average of 374.9 yards, placing them in the top 4 worst in the league for total yards surrendered. These statistics aren't just numbers. They represent a team that's struggling to close out games, to stop opponents when it matters most, and to execute the fundamental principles of a top-tier defense. Now, what about the specific issues within the defense that have led to this decline? It's essential to consider the broader context of this season. Injuries have played a significant role. Key players have gone down, forcing younger, less experienced players into critical roles. The secondary, which includes players like Trayvon Diggs and others not specified in our original report, has been inconsistent, often caught out of position or beaten deep. But beyond injuries, the schematic approach and the coaching decisions have come under scrutiny. Many analysts point the finger directly at Matt Everfle's. His previous success as the defensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts from 2018 to 2021 built his reputation as a top defensive mind. His units were known for disciplined aggressive schemes, often emphasizing pressure on the quarterback and forcing turnovers. But his stint with the Chicago Bears, which lasted only 12 games in 2022 before his firing, was less successful. The Bears struggled mightily on defense, finishing with a 4-8 record that season and a 14-32 record overall during his tenure. Some critics argue that Everflu's system doesn't translate well to the Cowboys personnel, or that his adjustments haven't been enough to counteract the league's evolving offensive strategies. Let's not forget that the NFL has become increasingly pass-oriented. Quarterbacks are more accurate, offensive lines are more sophisticated, and attacking passing games are the norm. The Cowboys' defensive scheme, which relies heavily on pressure and man-to-man coverage, has been exploited repeatedly this season. Opposing quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins of the Vikings have had field days throwing for over 300 yards and multiple touchdowns. The secondary has been burned, and the run defense has also shown vulnerabilities, although that's a secondary discussion. But what about the players themselves? Micah Parsons' absence has undoubtedly been felt. His explosiveness, versatility, and game-changing ability can't be easily replaced. Without him, the pass rush has lost much of its edge, and other players have struggled to step up consistently. The linebacker core, secondary, and defensive line have all faced criticism for lapses in coverage, missed tackles, and blown assignments. The defensive struggles are a collective issue, but the leadership and schematics provided by the coaching staff are crucial in turning those individual moments into team success. Now, looking at the team's overall context this season, it's important to remember that the Cowboys have a strong offense led by Dak Prescott, who continues to be one of the league's more reliable quarterbacks. Prescott's stats remain solid, completing around 68% of his passes for over 300 yards with 22 touchdowns against just 8 interceptions. His leadership on the field is undeniable, and he's been a key piece in keeping the Cowboys competitive. But football is a game of complementarity. An offense that scores points is only as good as the defense that can keep the opposition from responding. The team's offensive production has been somewhat inconsistent, but Prescott's ability to move the ball and make plays under pressure has been a bright spot. The running game with Tony Pollard and others has shown flashes of brilliance, but it's the defense that's been the Achilles heel. And this brings us back to the central question. Can the Cowboys turn things around in these last 3 games? The upcoming schedule is critical. With games against divisional rivals and playoff contenders, the pressure is mounting. The team's playoff chances hinge not only on their overall record, but also on their ability to improve defensively and close out games more effectively. The current trajectory suggests that if no changes are made, particularly on the defensive coaching staff, then the Cowboys may face a disappointing end to what was intended to be a season of promise. But if Jerry Jones and the front office decide to make bold moves, possibly replacing Everflu or altering their defensive scheme, they might still salvage this campaign. The historical context here is important. The Cowboys have a storied defense that has traditionally been their hallmark, especially during their Super Bowl winning years. The legendary players, the dominant schemes, the iconic moments, these are part of the team's DNA. However, in recent years, the league has shifted more towards offensive firepower, making defensive schemes more complex and demanding. It's a delicate balance for any coaching staff, maintaining discipline, adapting to new offensive trends, and developing players to execute at the highest level. As we look at other teams in the league, some have found success by adjusting their schemes mid-season, while others have stuck to their guns and paid the price. The Cowboys under Everflu seem to be at a crossroads. Either they make drastic changes now or risk falling further behind in their division and playoff positioning. It's a pivotal moment, and the decisions made in the next few weeks could define the franchise's direction for years to come. From a fan perspective, the disappointment is palpable. Many hoped that the Cowboys would build on last year's playoff run or at least contend for the NFC East title. Instead, the defense's struggles have cast a shadow over the team's aspirations. The energy at AT&T Stadium has been mixed. Some fans remain optimistic, believing that the team can turn things around, while others are more skeptical, questioning whether this coaching staff can get the best out of their players. So, what can we expect in these final 3 games? Will the Cowboys stick with Everflu that a strategic adjustment, or the return of key players like Micah Parsons will turn the tide? Or is Jerry Jones already contemplating a change? Perhaps bringing in a new defensive coordinator who can implement a more aggressive, adaptable system. The answer might depend on the results of these upcoming matchups and how well the team performs in critical moments. Now, let's compare this situation with other recent coaching changes in the NFL. Sometimes, a mid-season coaching change can spark a team and provide a much-needed boost. The 2022 season saw similar situations with teams like the Denver Broncos making coaching adjustments to try to salvage their season. But it's not always a guarantee. Sometimes a coaching change can cause disruption rather than improvement. It's a gamble, and the Cowboys front office will have to weigh the risks and benefits carefully. Looking ahead, the prospects for the Cowboys defense are uncertain. If they make a change, who would come in? Would they promote from within or look for an external candidate? Would they adjust their defensive scheme to be more zone-oriented or continue their man-to-man aggressive approach? These are questions that only time will answer. But one thing is clear: the clock is ticking and the pressure is mounting. As fans, we're all eager to see how this story unfolds. Will Jerry Jones pull the trigger on a major coaching change? Will Micah Parsons' departure continue to haunt the team? Can Dak Prescott's leadership and the offensive firepower carry the team to the playoffs despite the defensive shortcomings? These are the questions that keep us on the edge of our seats. Before we wrap up, let's reflect on the bigger picture. The Dallas Cowboys are a franchise with a rich history, one that's defined by resilience, star power, and a passionate fan base. This season, they face perhaps their most significant challenge: overcoming internal issues, fixing their defense, and finding consistency when it matters most. The decisions made now will resonate well beyond this year. They will shape the identity and future of the team for years to come. Now, pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead. It's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. In conclusion, the Dallas Cowboys defense is at a critical juncture. The recent comments from Jerry Jones, the staggering statistics, and the overall team performance point towards a potential coaching change, one that could redefine the team's future. Whether this happens before the season ends or in the offseason, one thing is certain. The Cowboys are at a crossroads, and their next moves could determine whether they return to their winning ways or continue to struggle. For fans, this is a moment of both anxiety and hope. We all want to see our team succeed, to see the defense step up, and to witness a playoff run that reflects the franchise's storied legacy. The next few weeks will be telling. Will we see a new defensive coordinator? Will the team rally around their current leadership, or will the internal struggles continue to overshadow their efforts? And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Dallas Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news. Thanks for watching, and let's keep the spirit alive. Go Cowboys!